Educating, informing, serving. Fact TV, keeping government honest.
It is April 22nd. It is 6:01 Thursday, as opposed to Wednesday, April 22nd, 2021. And I am calling the board of the Windham Northeast Union Elementary School District to order. Are there adjustments to the agenda, as it says on item number 2 here? Anybody got anything? I'm hearing a Quaker meeting breaking out, so I'm guessing no. Moving on to 3, communications and public comment. Are there members of the public or anybody that like to pretend to be one? You got anything in the pile, or anybody got any correspondence they feel the need to read?
No, I have no hands up, and I do not have anything in the chat.
That is perfect. No, actually, we enjoy public comments. All right, moving on to item 4, board minutes, March 25th and April 7th. And Chris, this is just an advisory thing. I would like it going forward if we start doing digital packets, because I haven't, and have these things sort of be available both on the website and emailed to folks, if we can do that going forward, just because even I don't always figure out where some of this material is. So anyway, I will take I will entertain a motion to approve board minutes for March 25th and April 2nd. Do I hear a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Jack, I'll move. And Nicole sent us an additional set of minutes. Nicole, you can remind me, it was the reorganization meeting, March something, which, so we have 3 sets of minutes actually.
Then
and
I'll take that as an, who made the motion to approve?
Cheryl is making the motion to approve with the addition of 1 additional set. Nicole sent us all 3.
So then the motion is to review and approve all 3 sets of minutes, 2 sets for March and the April 7th. Any discussion, anything, any misspellings, any of the usual stuff that we need to fix?
There are some misspellings, but there are nothing that affects substance, so I think we can approve them as written.
All right. Then any other conversation on this point? And since I can't see everybody, I'm going to ask you just to unmute and pipe up, because it'll be easier for me. So anything, anybody?
Nope.
Then, not hearing anything, we'll entertain the roll call here. Ginger, what would you say?
I would say accept all the minutes.
Okay. Melissa? Accept. Jessa?
Yeah, accept.
All right. Who have I forgotten this time? Oh, Lynn. Sorry.
Accept.
All right. Have I forgotten anyone? Because I'm pretty ADD today.
Cheryl, I'll vote yes.
Oh, good. And, all right, then we will consider those accepted. Moving on to reports, principals reports, starting with Westminster Center School.
Yep, and Angela and I worked just as Helen and I had, so we have a joint report. Like we've
All
done
right,
before.
then it will be a joint report. So who's leading?
I'll start, and as we all know, we're back 5 days this week, which has been wonderful. And today, usually Thursdays feel like our second Monday, so it didn't. And the feedback from staff has been it's been wonderful to be continually in the building. So that's been wonderful. As far as enrollment for Westminster, right now we have 138 in-person, 13 remote. And since our last board meeting, we've had 0 positive COVID cases and 0 quarantining members of our school community.
Again, that was 138 and what?
13.
138 and 13. All right, thank you.
Mhm.
And
Hi.
going- Dex?
So for Grafton, earlier this week, Grafton welcomed back a third grader from BTVLC. And our enrollment actually just changed or will change as of Monday. We will have 51 students, 45 in school and 6 remote. And since our last report, there has been no positive COVID cases.
Both
Thanks.
schools, yep, and both schools continue to have our after-school program, which has been up and running all year. Now, this week has begun to offer clubs and tutoring 5 days a week, and plans are well underway for our summer program. So signups have gone out to gain interest, and we'll continue to go out just to make sure families are aware and sign up. It'll be this summer from July 5th to August 13th. It'll be 5 days a week from 8 to 4. And this year, it'll be free of charge to families. Another thing that's been happening since our last board meeting is the vaccination for educators. So it was a huge relief for educators to know that they could begin to sign up for vaccinations, and it definitely boosted morale, and teachers were easily able to find appointments. And at this point, all teachers who wanted to be vaccinated have been.
Thank you.
Okay, and then I'm going to talk about SBAC. So at Westminster, students in grades 3 to 6 will be testing the weeks of April 26th and May 3rd. And 5th graders are scheduled to take the science portion on May 24th. And at Grafton, students finish the math and ELA portions of the SBAC today. Tomorrow and Monday will be makeups. And then 5th graders are scheduled to take the science portion on May 28th.
Some other events that are happening in Westminster. On April 5th, we had a storyteller from Rhode Island, Len Cabral. He held 2 virtual storytelling events during the day for our kindergarten through 3rd grade and another for 4th through 6th. He then held a family event that evening where families could listen to different stories. There were also great question and answer periods within each session, and he was really awesome. So it's something that we might want to think about for next year as well. Bike Week, or Bike Weeks, is starting on next Monday. So it'll run next Monday through May 14th. And during these weeks, Westminster partners with Local Motion, who brings a bike trailer to the school, and students engage in a full bike skills curriculum. And this is all free of charge. Our 4th graders have also partnered with the Northern Stage. So in May, they will work with Northern Stage's Bridge Up program, and this is a free opportunity where students will work with the Northern Stage 2 times a week for 5 weeks, beginning at the beginning of May, to learn the story of play, delve into characters, relationships, and recognize themes that they see in other cultural stories that they are familiar with. At the end of the 5 weeks, the class will perform a short speech together, and that will be recorded and shared with families through a private link.
Liz, would you mind sending me any details on that particular item?
Yep, absolutely.
Is that something we're paying for? Is that something Northern State is providing?
It's free of charge. Yep.
All right, I'd like to know more on that.
Yeah, I can definitely send you details.
What else y'all got?
And then at Grafton, so first I just want to back up. I said that the 5th graders are going to take the science portion of the SBAC on May 28th. I should have said April 28th, so I'm sorry about that. So we also have an author coming to visit, Amy Huntington. She's an author and illustrator, and she's going to be joining students during the day remotely next week on Thursday, April 29th, to talk to students about her poetry book, read some of her stories, and then also draw with the students towards the end. And that will be done remotely in 2 different pods. So K to 2 will do that remotely, and then 3 to 6 will do it at a different time with her during that day. And then at 7 o'clock, she's going to join families remotely for like a bedtime story. The title of that book is Monsters Like Us. That actually just came out a couple weeks ago. Sorry, what? No.
No, I'm aware of that piece. That's all.
Great. And then Green Up Day next Friday. Instead of taking a bus out on the road, because that's a field trip right now and we're not going to do that, we decided to stay local at our school and do some beautification of our outdoors and tie in Earth Day, which was today, into our activities. And then students are going to take a green up bag home, and we plan to encourage families and students to send us photos of their greening up around where they live. And then Bike Week is taking place for 2 weeks in May during our regular PE times. And our PE teacher will send home some information to families about this and a survey to see who needs helmets and bikes. There's also like a voucher program down in Bellows Falls that some kids are getting the benefits of getting bikes that way, and also helmets. And then both schools will be recognizing Teacher Appreciation Week next week, May 3rd to the 7th. Actually, is that May? Yes. So a week of treats and gifts are planned for all staff.
And that is all we have. So if there's any questions.
Let's start that. I see Cheryl's hands up.
Right. Well, thank you both for the report. First, I mean, this is, Angela, I guess this is maybe your first or second full week as teaching principal. So would you make a couple of comments about that? And then I've got another question, but thank you. Thank you for stepping into this role.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to. It's been a great 3 weeks. One of those weeks was vacation. So, but it has been really good. I think everybody's very happy with helping and joining together. I mean, it's not easy to teach a full class and then also, you know, be the principal and be available. So of course, I mean, teachers have questions throughout the day, but everyone's very respectful of my time and understand that, you know, if I need somebody to cover me in the morning. So like right now, I'm available in the morning for arrival. And so there's a paraprofessional who's covering my room just for arrival time and breakfast. And then I usually get back to the classroom at like 8:10. And then a couple of times I have scheduled some meetings from 8 to 8:30, which is a good time because the kids are just eating breakfast, they're arriving, and then they're doing their student-led morning meeting. So there's no instructional time being missed. But it certainly has been challenging because I have missed quite a few meetings. You know, like I'm not at the elementary principals meeting because it's not during a time that I'm available. And I don't want to compromise the instruction of my students, so I don't miss any instructional time with them. But everybody's really rallied behind me and is really helping, and I wouldn't be able to do it without Liz's support. Liz has been great. I've spent hours on the phone with her, you know, being filled in on things that I don't know or that I'm still learning. And then the staff has just been wonderful, helping and doing whatever they can to make things a little bit easier.
Wonderful. Thank you. And we're all cheering you on and grateful. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Another specific question for Liz, actually for both of you, but we had been with the students in both buildings. They had been in the pod approach. You know, half the kids had gone half the week, right? And Wednesday was stay at home. So this is the first week where all children have been together all the time. And I'd like to hear a little bit more about that because that's a big change.
Yeah, and I think our structure actually where all of our students had been actually in the building. Everyone was in the building Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so it's not really as big of a change because a lot of our systems just stayed in place for Wednesday. And all of the students had really been in.
So help me with how long had they all been there 4 days a week then? All because in the beginning we were doing half and half. So
yep.
Help with that.
Yeah, and I believe it was mid-November when
that long. Okay,
4 days a week.
Cheryl,
yeah.
Jack, I'm gonna step away for about 3 minutes. Consider yourself chair du jour. I gotta just take care of a quick thing, and just ask everybody, you know, to make sure everybody's had a chance to ask questions. I'll be right back. 5 minutes, if that.
Okay, no problem at all. No problem at all. so when I had thought that for the longest time, but some people asked me some questions recently that made me think that we had not been doing that. I'm actually really heartened to hear that all children have been in the building 4 days a week in their classrooms with their teachers, right? And so it really is just the addition of the 5th day that's been the big change most recently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay.
Yes.
And so with that, not as big a transition. Now I'm remembering how this fell into place back in the fall. So that's great. Okay. Well, any questions from anybody else? I had offered a couple, but let's see if anybody else. Melissa's got her hand up, please.
Yeah, I had a question about just my child is still bringing his computer home on Wednesdays, and I asked him or on the week or back and forth every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him about it, and he said that it's in case he's sick. And in my mind, if a child is sick, they need to rest and be well. And I'm just hoping that the school isn't moving toward a direction of expecting sick students to be doing schoolwork on some level. And so why are the computers still going back and forth?
Yeah, so my understanding is that we're still, as an SU, sending computers and devices home daily, just in case there is an outbreak of COVID case where a class or a few classes do have to shut down and go to remote learning, as has happened this year. In that we have to go to remote learning like that. And the next day is not an in-person day, but we still can continue learning. It is not that we are expecting 6 students to attend virtually. No, that is absolutely not.
Makes way more sense to me. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, no, thank you for asking. I'm sorry that was the message.
Yeah, so some kids think that.
Okay, good to
or
know.
being told that maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
So where are we in our round robin?
We're just in the process of board members asking questions. Lynn has her hand up, and then I'll turn it back to you, Jack. Lynn,
Okay.
please go ahead.
Angela, I was wanting to let you know that I'm the one that coordinates Green Up in Athens. And if there's anything I can do to help with any of the kids here in Athens, let me know.
Okay, great. Thank you. Great, thanks.
Ginger?
I think I'm unmuted. I just wanted to welcome Angela as the new principal and introduce myself because I've never met you. And I'm looking forward to meeting you and coming in the school when that's possible. Is it possible to come in the school at this point if you've been vaccinated?
At this point, no, there's, even if you've been vaccinated, unfortunately, there's still no visitors. I know it's tough for us because we're trying to plan a lot of things, but we can't have people in the building right now. But I could meet you outside.
Yeah, that would be great to do that sometime. I also
Yeah,
wanted to say hi to Liz because she's an old pal of mine.
Yeah, hi, Ginger.
Nice to see you here.
Yeah.
You guys are doing a great job. Sounds like you've got a lot of great things going on in spite of COVID, so keep it up.
All right. Anyone else? You're not off the hook quite yet then. Hey,
I have a question for Angela.
oh, then Jessa, I'm sorry. Again, this is very, the one weakness of this system is I can't see people. Go ahead.
I know there's a lot of tricky time management for you as a teaching principal. And I would just like you to think about looking forward to next year, if you think the board needs to sort of refine that role and provide you assistance to keep your classroom covered and allow you to do principal duties.
I mean,
So I'm
that's
not looking for an answer right now, but
yeah, I mean, it's a big question. Or a long answer, I guess I could say. Thinking of it right now, I don't think being a classroom teacher and the principal is fair to the students, because the reality of it is that I'm missing a lot of things that are going on throughout the building. We've had some significant behavior challenges recently, and also like supporting students emotionally. That's been missed. There's been several incidents where kids walk in and you do your typical like, how are you? And then you don't get an answer. and then they keep walking to go get their temperature checked. And then, you know, the guidance counselor is out that day, and then there's like missing that follow through. And that's been like the most glaring thing for me, is not being able to support the kids like that. Or even like with recess issues, just things like that that are sort of getting missed or aren't getting addressed until well after the fact. That's been a challenge. And then even being available for staff, because I don't really want to be interrupted of like, if I'm reading a book, to have somebody come in and need me for 5 minutes, because it can just be very disruptive. And so I don't think, like when you're asking me this question right now, I don't think it's really fair to the kids to do that. And then with our behavior challenge recently, it's hard to see an adult as also like in these two roles. You know, that's a hard thing to ask kids to do, like see me as a teacher, but then also see me as the principal and the school leader. Some kids are doing that really well, but then some kids are having trouble seeing that. And it works a little bit better if I have those principal type conversations in the office and then teacher type conversations in my classroom. That's been one way I've been working around it, but I don't really think that it's sustainable to do full-time classroom teacher and principal.
Angela, it is my belief that you and Chris and Lynn are trying to work all this stuff out. Is that my understanding is correct on that?
Yes, it is. I think we're all sort of on the same page, or not sort of. I think that we're on the same page with it. And I would love to be in the principal role next year. I love this work, and it's where I want to be.
All right, I see Cheryl has another question.
Well, just to say to that point, I think that from a policy and procedural point of view, this was an interim role, gratefully accepted and fulfilled, and that I believe that Lynn and Chris are going to come to the board with a recommendation here. And in the meantime, Angela is talking with both of them to get a better understanding of all of this. So this is still a work in progress that is being beautifully fulfilled at this point in time. So thank you for your comments and your insights as well.
Jack, can I say something?
You absolutely can.
Thank you. And Cheryl is completely right. We were actually going to wait until next month or the next board meeting to bring it up.
Yeah.
To actually make recommendations to the board and to see how they felt about filling that position.
Yeah, that's fine.
So that's what we were planning, but Angela's doing a wonderful job. We couldn't be happier, and we appreciate her stepping in like this.
Well, we all do. They're very good. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I have a question for both of you, and it may spin into getting some input from our superintendents. I rarely hear much from colleagues in Hanover and the Upper Valley about our school district, but I did this week, and it had to do with the summer program, which was described as the best summer program along the Connecticut River Valley, from what this colleague said. That's wonderful. There is a gotcha though, which is, how are we doing this in both locations, or are we doing this in both locations? This is that equity thing, and how do we handle that?
So there are summer programs at both locations. There's a site coordinator at both schools. And it's my understanding that the site coordinator has been running the after school program all year, and then they'll continue and run the summer program this summer. And so they all work with Lynn and with the after school program director to plan and get materials ready and to schedule and to get all the activities lined up for the summer.
All right, thank you. I just, like I said, my wife came and said, "What is this summer program?" I was in a staff meeting with Dartmouth and the med school, and with the support staff at Geisel School of Medicine, and they were telling us about this great program in Westminster, and that it was the best they've seen anywhere. And I just thought it was worth passing that along. So there you are.
That's great to hear. Thanks for the feedback.
Jack, we also, the site coordinator at Westminster applied for and received a grant from, it's a childcare grant from, COVID relief funds, and it's $3,800 a month for 10 months. And so Westminster is having an extra $3,800 to spend on their program for the next 10 months. So the site coordinator there's, pretty active in reaching out. This is the second grant she's gotten this year. So we're pretty excited about that. We're using the funds to purchase for this month, to purchase a PA system for the students. When they're outside, we're planning on having some outside learning going on during the summer, and the PA system will come in very handy for that. So it's been a real plus for the program.
Jack, and I think it needs to be said is that Lynn, along with the principals, have put many hours and time into planning and kind of vamping the summer program. I would say it's more like a summer camp. What the stuff that they've been doing and moving forward. I mean, they're selling themselves short. A lot of time has been put into this, and it's an incredible amount of work that Lynn and all the principals have done. So very impressive, and you'll continue to see it as things go out. But I agree with everything I've heard. It's very elite in regards to what they're offering in for programs and activities. It's incredible. Very proud.
Sorry, thank you. Lynn, you get your hand up.
Yes. Now, the after-school program and the summer program are being run by another organization outside of the school. I'm a little confused on that.
Well, not really. It's Westminster has always had a federal grant, and it's called 21st Century.
Okay.
And it's called Learning Grants. And it's for out of school time learning, out of school time programming. So after school, they've always had a program from 3 to 5 and during school days, and then they've had a summer program in the summer. And the funds from this 21C, they when you begin a program, they fund it really well, with the planning being that it would become self-sustaining over the years, many years. You would get less and less money because the program would take off, become popular. Parents would pay, I think it's like $6 a day to do that. So the grant's written every year, and it just gets like a little bit less each year. But when the two schools combined, when Westminster combined to become a district with Grafton, we decided that we were going to put the 21C for both schools in that district. So Grafton was picked up this year to be part of the program with Westminster. So Grafton has their own 21C site, which is federally funded, as well as Westminster and Bellows Falls Middle School, who's been doing it for years. The director at Bellows Falls Middle School has taken over the directorship of Westminster and Grafton. Now, those two schools have a site coordinator. Mary Beth is the site coordinator in Grafton, and Eldina Wenzel is the site coordinator in Westminster. So they pretty much run the programs. They work with the director to come up with, the materials, the supplies, the hiring, these things that they need. Although this year I've been very much involved with the Westminster site, and she's really originated a lot of these new and innovative ideas. She's a really kind of a go-getter, just, loves that kind of activities. So what's happening, we're going to open it up to Central and Saxons River, because those are our only two schools that don't have it. And those will be starting to be funded with ESSER funds. However, this summer, what Century 21 doesn't cover for the summer school. For equity across the district, ESSER funds, the ESSER 2 funds, will actually support the program. All kids can go for free. They'll pay for the teachers. They'll pay for all the supplies and materials. The breakfast and lunch are going to be free for all students. And so we're very fortunate for this summer and next summer. Because of the ESSER funds, everyone will be free. It's just opening it up to everyone. And because we have this funding from the federal government, we can provide a lot more interesting, a lot more diverse activities. And we're just really hoping to focus on the fun aspect as well as learning loss. It's going to be exciting. So yes, thank you for asking.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else have anything they have a query on? By the way, do we know who guest is? I'm wondering if they might identify themselves, if just so we could. I always ask people to put the name in and not have something that anonymous. All right. I will caution that in the future, I take I have the option, if people don't put the names in, to send them to naughty school outside this meeting, and I don't, time out. All right, the digital corner. All right, very good. Let's move on then. Thank you both very much for this, and let's move on to 5B. And again, my thanks to our principals. Angela, I haven't said thank you so much for stepping in, but I hope you know that already.
You're welcome. You don't have to thank me.
No problem. 5B is what's on the agenda. What's up, Chris and Fora?
Hi. So just an update. So we sent out contracts for the teachers for the upcoming year. There were sent out 26 contracts. Currently, we got 13 contracts back. From those 13 that we got back, 5 of them are from Grafton and 8 of them are from Westminster. The contracts are due by May 5th. So the teachers have till May 5th to submit their contracts. Right now, we don't have anybody that has requested any extensions. For extensions, they will have to send that to Mr. Pratt for approval. And
I know the NEA had asked for extensions. I believe that the SU was disinclined to do that unless Chris wanted to on a case-by-case basis. Do we have any folks that are, to the best of our knowledge, and I guess I'll ask you two, Angela and Liz, are we anticipating any surprise vacancies?
At this point, no. None that I didn't already know of.
All right, and Angela?
we only have one person that just stated that wasn't returning, but it's only one.
All right, all right. I did get a query from our friends in the press because they'd heard a rumor that people were not filling in their returns, but I think it was a rumor and she needed a news story. So I think it's fine. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, Jack,
Go ahead.
in the current CBA, if they're asked for an extension of the signing their contract, they have until June 5th. So
June 1st.
June 1st, I'm sorry. So that is in their CBA. So
Okay.
I haven't had too many from this board that fall into this board, but in general, there has been an increase overall in regards to people asking for extensions.
Okay. We'll bear that in mind and make that note of that both to board chairs, maybe even the negotiations committee. Thank you for that. Anything else, Flora?
No, that'll be all for us. Thank you.
All right. Moving on then, I guess, to item 6, financial projections, 6A. What do we have on that? Chris, I was a little surprised to see that here.
I think we kept it on there because I don't know if there was something that was tied to all the stuff going on with Westminster. I personally don't have anything to add in regards to additions to what Flora just reported out. I don't know if Flora has anything more to add to it, but I think we just kept that on there because we weren't really sure.
Right. Okay. That's fine. I don't see, maybe guest is David Clark. I don't have anything to add on the Act 173, except that discussions are going on. There's a Senate Bill 13 that was positioned as a cure to the problems with 173, but it really, in its current form, is a proposal to kick the can down the road in classic fashion. There is testimony going on at the state level. If there are people that are interested in getting information on the status of the repair to 173, I can give you the link to the steering committee that's dealing with educational equity funding issues, and that's what the 173 committee is morphed into. It's a multi-district coordinating committee across the state. David Clark is one of the folks bird dogging it, but far from the only one. So that's really all I have for folks at the moment. With that in mind, let's move to the C and D, the fun ones, which is Westminster Vote. Why don't we combine those, and I'm going to let Cheryl make the big announcement about this. Cheryl?
Well, I think, thank you, Jack. Yesterday, the State Board of Education did hear the presentation from Westminster with the official request to withdraw from the Wyndham Northeast Union Elementary School District. And David Major, town moderator, and, clearly informed local citizen, made the presentation, and the State Board of Education did vote unanimously to approve Westminster's request to withdraw, with a vote that included a date by which a new town school district and new board would have full authority by July 1, 2022. There are a number of questions about some of the details of the process, but the most important finding is that they did find the one big test that had to do with their decision yesterday had to do with whether education for the children in Westminster would meet the standards set by the state board, and their finding was that it would. And I would certainly like to thank Jack Breyer, Lynn Morgan, Chris Pratt, Lynn Carey, Liz Hardy, everybody else who has helped with this whole process. We were able to pull together the information that was necessary for the state board to make an informed decision. David Major did a fabulous job presenting it all. There were really not very many questions, and the board did make this decision and vote unanimously.
Let me add a name to the list of folks who deserve a plaudit. As everyone knows, our superintendent and assistant were out last week. We've got this list, and this is not a knock, but I wanted to say Nicole did yeoman's work getting this. She took a break from a vacation day to come back in the office and help at one point. Offline, my conversation with John Carroll, our always sort of grumpy SVE chair, was that at least we answered the questions that were asked. In his opinion, he was mostly beating up another school that was applying for a similar withdrawal petition. And the reason the questions were short is because the the SB members had the documentation in hand, and it turned into a bit of an anticlimactic thing, which was lovely. Now, there is a fly in the ointment, and we don't know if it's a big fly or a little one, and that is that the state, being zealous about the application of the law that they don't like that we use to jam this through, it has 721A has a provision that gives the state board the option of determining whether or not the remaining district is viable. And therefore, and while we thought this was a pretty pro forma thing, and again, we answered all their questions, they put it off until May, which means that we're technically not sure whether this district will end up in 2 parts or in 3 parts. We certainly are discouraging the idea of splitting up Athens and Grafton at this point because we don't have data on the impact of it. And frankly, it's giving something nobody's asked for. But we may ask you all to be in attendance at that meeting and ask your friends and your friends' friends to participate. I will be looking for testimony and written statements from Athens and Grafton residents on this matter. And just, you know, I think it's pro forma, but weird stuff has happened, and you may know they don't really love us at the SPE, so we don't want to have an issue. So there you go with that. Anybody else?
Jack, if I can add just a little bit. Again, actually echoing you, a huge thanks to Nicole. I can't even believe I didn't acknowledge her. She was doing somersaults on Friday last week to get all the data in hand, and just can't even thank you enough, Nicole, for that. To your point, I think yesterday, you know, the Ripton discussion was complicated, did not go well from the point of view of Ripton folks, and was difficult from the point of view of the board members. They were late getting to the Westminster topic. They really ran over, and I think it's quite clear.
Hold on a sec. Okay.
I think, you know, they made John Carroll made one positive statement toward the end about what is essentially pro forma about all of us staying within this supervisory union. And I'm hopeful, and all of us, as many of us as possible, can do whatever we can to support this district staying intact. I mean, it would not make a whole lot of sense for the Athens Grafton to be split up at this point in time. So, Jack, you and others, just let us know how we can all be of support and help with that. But I think they ran out of time. Jack was my point about that. So I'm not sure, but we want to be prepared and provide any information they need.
One of the things about this process, and one of the reasons why it went as smoothly as it did, is because if we've done anything, we've been over-prepared and a little paranoid, which I think is a great way of dealing with state bureaucrats. And I think that everybody in Westminster, I'm hoping that they are happy, that, you know, we'll ask for their patience because it's a process. And but this is a yes, and we are the first involuntarily consolidated district in the state to have an approval, and proof it can be done. And the little Easter egg that we had included in the interim articles did finally materialize, and it made me very, very happy. So there you go. Moving on, unless there's more comment. And I guess we're moving on. Any new business for discussion? Anything we've failed to chat about today? Chris, anything we've forgotten?
No, I have nothing. I think the principals did a great job covering it.
I agree. So policies, we have to meet, and I'm going to SU board policy committee's got to get rocking and rolling. And I don't know what we do to light a fire, but the fire is going to get lit on that. Chris, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, I sent the invite out earlier today to policy committee. for a meeting in May. Will be the first
Okay.
one. I wanted it sooner, but the recovery team meetings, which is the planning committee meetings that we have, some of them, there's going to be quite a few of them. So I did. So if you are in the policy committee, I think Jess and Jack on this one here, check your emails. There's an invite for, I think, the second week of May that there's some policies that I'm recommending that we need to have approved for the ESSER funds, which is Title I and the Parent Compact. So those are the only two I have. What I've asked in another email from anyone on the policy committee, that you start looking at the shared Google site that I also shared with the policy committee, and start looking at the policies that you want to look at. So I can have them to you so you guys can start discussing what policies you want to look at. Most of the information, if not all information you need, is in the shared Google folders. So that'll help us get started and moving forward.
I'm personally eager to get this rocking and rolling, and Jess has talked to me about this in the past, so off we go. All right, gosh, 45 minutes and we're at the director's comments.
Jack,
Yes.
question. Would it be possible to have a list of the different committees and who's on them sent out? Because I know I put in that I could do 2 different ones.
Yes.
And I'm not sure which ones they are, so I'm not sure where I'm at.
You know, I sent that around, but I don't have a copy of it and can't remember what terrible decisions I made on people's behalf. And so I got to go look at it myself. I will look it up and resend it to you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and Nicole put that together for me and sent that out to everyone. So if Jack can't find it, then I'm sure Nicole can locate it and we can send it back out.
Okay.
Oh, well, yeah.
I'll re-look through my stuff too, see if I just missed it.
Yeah, Chris, why don't we just resend it the entire board so they can be outraged and new at what I did to them, and also it'll save me because I never can find anything when I'm looking on my screens here. So thank you for that. So we are at 9, director's comment. I'm going to start with Ginger because she's in my left-hand corner of my screen.
Now am I unmuted?
Sure.
I just want to say that I'm listening in and trying to take in everything and get up to speed on all of this. So I'm kind of taking a back role for a little while, listening to everything. So I'm learning a lot.
We've had new members who had a whole lot of opinions on the first day, whether they knew anything or not. But you know, so you don't really need to stand on ceremony. But thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Lynn.
I just want to say thank you to the principals and especially to, I don't remember, Angela, for taking on this amazing task. And everybody from all the different areas have been just doing amazing stuff to get us through all of this. Thanks.
Melissa.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you also to Angela for stepping into her role. And I wanted to thank the people for the work they did in Westminster with the state. And I'm really actually super grateful for the green up bags that we're going to get.
Jessa, what do we got?
Me?
Yeah.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Really? Okay. Cheryl.
Oh, well, yeah, echoing the thanks that others have shared, I would also say that from a Westminster perspective, we are honored and grateful to work with all of you. How, you know, as this goes forward and Westminster once again becomes its own town school district, we will always be grateful for the relationship with Athens and Grafton, and thrilled to be a part of the supervisory union. So we know for the long term, we're all in this together. So thanks, everybody.
Very good. And I'll just, again, Angela, thank you for stepping in. Your your appointment, I know, was quite popular, and appreciate that. A huge thank you to Nicole for being clerk of the works for the last while we got all this together. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you to the people in Westminster who've shown a great deal of patience, and I hope more as we go forward in the next weeks and months to put this together. And really, my thank you to all. When this does finally dissolve, I will miss the people that are in this. Kathleen was joking about whether I was going to be a secret vote against the dissolution, simply because she thought that it was such a great crew, and it is. So there you go. We'll all see you again in the next go round, I guess. Unless I'm hearing an objection, I'll declare the meeting adjourned. All right, Nick Quinn, no, that's not an objection. You all want to go. Take care. Bye all.